bet you've all got at least one thing in the back of the cupboard that you don't want to throw away, just in case you might be able to get into it, just in case it comes back into fashion, just in case. Well, face it, you're never going to wear it again. And that's before I even get to the bits and pieces you're hanging on to for after the diet. I'm sure that'll be fine. Have you ever considered swapping them? Nicholas Kelly from Chelmsford has come up with an event for women to get a whole new wardrobe for less than a tenner. And she's set herself up a little business in the process. She came in to tell me how it all worked.
It's a clothing swap shop. We sort of try to run it in the summer mainly, once a month. People can bring along their old clothes. They can bring up to 5 items. Well, actually, they can bring more, but they pay £3 for every 5 items. Come along and basically swap for clothes that are already on the rails, and it costs them £3 to basically get a whole new wardrobe of clothes.
So how did this all come about then, Nicola?
Well, I used to go to London to a swap shop in Hackney, and I ended up going up there with a few of my friends a few times, and they ended up coming home with my clothes. So it's sort of we thought we'd do something, me and my boyfriend do something in the Essex area, because there's not anything around Essex that does this sort of thing here. So.
Right, so it really is a swap shop as such. So you were going up to London with your bags of clothes each. You were giving your clothes over, paying your amount of money so you could look along. And when you noticed, all your friends had chosen the clothes that you'd taken.
Yeah.
So what's the point of trekking up to London? Exactly. So you're doing it here. That's fabulous. So how have you worked it to do it here? I mean, it costs money, doesn't it?
Because I only make a small amount of money, what I tend to do is I'll approach that pub. In this case, I've got one on Saturday in the Fleece in Chelmsford, and another one in Barista, and both the managers there were happy for me to hold it for free, because of people come in and when they're browsing, because it's over a 3-hour period or more sometimes, they buy food, they buy drinks, so in a sense they kind of make a bit of money, I make a small bit of money, and everyone's happy. So
I see. So you keep them all happy. And what happens? Do you take a whole area of the pub or the barista or wherever? Or is it upstairs? Where are you?
It all depends. When I spoke to both the managers in both those bars, we've sort of agreed that if it's nice weather, we can do it outside on the terrace, because they've both got a terrace area. Or if it's cold, obviously, they'll set aside a nice big area for me inside, so there's enough space for people to get changed in the toilets, and a nice space for me to put all the rails out so that people can browse it without pushing and sort of it becoming overcrowded.
Sounds to me like a young person's thing, this.
No,
I bet
actually,
it is.
It's not actually. Because of the size range that we have, we don't just have your normal 6 to 8 size. I've sort of tried to make sure that there's enough sizes to cater for everybody. I get people from all ranges down there. Mothers, daughters, grandmothers, the lot, they all come down. Unfortunately, it is only women at the moment.
Good. Keep them smelly men out, I say.
But the idea is you bring your boyfriend or partner along, they'll buy you some lunch and some wine, so...
Stick them in a corner with a pint and while you try things on. And is it just for... I look at what you're wearing now. What is that? That's pretty retro, isn't it, what you're wearing?
Kind of.
It's lovely.
Thank you. It's all sorts of clothing. I mean, as I said, I'm trying to source stuff from boot sales and charity shops, so I try and get quite a mixture of clothing, but you do tend to get stuff that's... you get your retro, your vintage, your high street, even things from Primark, but it's such a range that people can come along and choose. Right. So it suits everybody, really.
And how much is it?
It's £3. So for every 5 items.
That, you see. I'm asking again because I'm thinking I've got it wrong.
So some people will come along and they'll bring bagfuls of stuff. So for every 5 items, so if you bring 15 items with you, that will cost you £9.
Right.
So
and then you put them in, and then you get. And how many articles of clothing can you get?
You get the equivalent. What it is I have normally 3 or 4 sort of 5 or 6 foot rails that have already full up with clothes from previous swap shops or stuff that I've bought myself to put on there. So if you start the day off and you come along and you're the first person to swap, don't worry, there will be stuff already there to choose from. And if you don't like anything on there, or you've chosen a couple of bits but you've still got a few more stamps, you can sit down or go into town and come back, because it is on for 3 hours. And then people will come along and bring their stuff, and they'll get put on the rail, so there'll be more to choose from throughout the day.
And has it been growing? How's it been going?
Yeah, really good. We started sort of last summer, and then Hygge had a few boutique events, which wasn't just myself and running the swap shop. There was it was like a full day, a vintage fair type thing, where there was a vintage clothing stall, a jewellery maker, a shoemaker, there was a catwalk, old vintage movies, music, hair, beauty, so a full range of stuff. And they did a couple of those events, which was brilliant for us because it really got us out there, promoted all of the right type of people that would want to come along to future events.
Wow, and so they come along. Do they come back? I bet they come back time and time again, don't they?
And we get quite a lot of queries on the website. It's quite interactive. We've got a blog on there, so people go on there and they sort of can write and ask when the next events are. And this time round on Saturday, I've got one of my friends who I used to work with at Topshop, Sian. She's a textile design student, but she's actually making her own T-shirts, printing them up, handmade herself, and she's working alongside me this Saturday to sell those alongside the swap shop. So we're kind of like trying to do a bit of a young group of girls getting together to sort of try and sort of recycling, environmental.
I love that. I love anything that uses things. I hate things that just go in the bin. It just drives me mad. So to turn up with 5 things and get a bit of money and possibly find something that you really love on there sounds brilliant to me. What's your website?
It's offtherails-essex.co.uk.
Great stuff. Sounds great. One thing made me wonder, though, the normal size 6 to 8... Is that really what people think is normal nowadays? Probably 6 to 18.
BBC.